Hello everyone. Just finished casting a short game, so I'm going to do another one. This is between Windrisen and Deaconist. Deaconist is going first. I don't know very much about either of these players, except that they seem to be friends. They've played each other a few times. And, both going for green-blue stars and yellow ships. A little unusual. I don't like green stars myself. It seems like it's very easy for my opponent to get a lot of green ships, and then my green star is in danger. Banker versus Fortress. Interesting. Deaconist going straight for... Oh, yeah, well, I guess that makes sense in this context. Since Windrisen has a small green star, it's not too strange to see Deaconist going for the green ships, since the green mediums will be opened up earlier than the other colors. If Windrisen isn't careful, they'll get locked out of green. Windrisen gets a colony. Okay, well, I'm surprised the Deaconist didn't build the second green. Didn't build green again to make it hard for Windrisen to get greens. But they didn't. All right. They also found a colony. Windrisen goes for more yellow. When in doubt, build more yellow, I say. Deaconist was thinking about it, but no, they went for that green now. I think that's a good idea. Um, Now, if Windrisen is going to get green, they'll have to get in at either the large or medium level. They will probably be able... I think they'll be able to get a medium green. They use up some more yellow, build a medium yellow, and then trade it for green. Otherwise, they'll have to... They can get that large. Oh, no. I say all that, and then Deaconist changes their mind. So Deaconist went for the yellow build. All right. Trying to keep up in yellows, which gave Windrisen the chance to get in on the greens. That, of course, opens up the medium green for Deaconist. Who wants it? Nope. Trading back to yellow. Oh, okay. Well, I don't like that. Well, I say once you've got a color, don't trade out of that color if you can help it. And in particular, I try to only trade 3 times the entire game. I start with one color, and then I trade once to get my second color, once to get my third color, once to get the fourth color, and then I get all of my ships of that color off of the one trade if I possibly can. But he's actually traded to decrease his diversity, which is odd. I know Windrisen is a pretty strong player. I'm not sure about Deaconist. Well, Windrisen, I think, has taken a break recently and is just coming back. So maybe we won't see the best skills on display here either. We'll see. We'll see. Windrisen got a new colony. I do like to have greens at blue stars or vice versa, so I can build and diversify there. And Deaconist has now moved into an aggressive position with his yellow just outside of Windrisen's home. I wonder if he's hoping he can build another yellow or two here in Pandora and then do a surprise bluebird against Windrisen. I don't think he'll fall for that. Windrisen builds a yellow at home. If Deaconist builds yellow in Pandora, which he does, that's check. If Windrisen doesn't react to this, Deaconist can sacrifice his large yellow at home to move both of these ships into Windrisen's home and win, but I don't think Windrisen is going to be taken by surprise. Okay, he trades for yellow. Sorry, trades yellow for red. First red of the game. Deaconist. I don't think it's urgent that he gets red, but he might choose to do that anyway. He's spreading out yellows? Yep. Yeah. Hmm. I think if I were him and interested in joining the red economy anytime soon, I would have done it at home just now. I think I would have traded a small yellow for red. Then I could continue to build reds. If Windrisen focuses on red for a while, I wouldn't get left behind. Okay, Windrisen. Yep. He builds red. Hmm. All right. Now, Deaconist trades for green. So he's back with the greens. And green at a blue system is a good thing. Build and diversify all in one place. But Windrisen is definitely getting a hit in material and in diversity. He's got 3 colors. The Deaconist's 2. Deaconist has a slight lead in yellow ships, but they're too concentrated. He'll have to spread them out to build any more. Okay. Windrisen backs up on the red to get a start on the blue. And Deaconist retreats by a step with his yellow. I try pretty hard to only push my ships forward unless I have a strong need to retreat. I'd like my ships to be closer to my opponent's homeworld, keep them more on their toes. Although, well, no, if he was worried about, say, this red 2 coming to Pandora, he should have traded his little yellow for red. Yeah, he does commit to that. Windrisen spreads out his yellows. Yeah, I very rarely make red systems. I don't see any particular reason for him to choose red. I would have taken green almost for sure. In case I decided I needed to build out there rather than one of the other 2 systems. Well, we will see. We will see. Deaconist. Okay, Deaconist finally gets into the yellow. Into the red. I think he should have just done that. He would have saved time. All right, Windrisen. Pushing his yellow forward. Okay. So the first thing that comes to mind with that move is that if Deaconist doesn't react, Windrisen can push this yellow forward, threatening to sacrifice his large yellow to... Oh, well, no. This is a straight-up bluebird setup right here. If Deaconist doesn't react, Windrisen sacrifices large yellow to move these 2 yellows into Deaconist's home for the win. He commits to that. So Deaconist should probably trade... I would, I think, trade my large yellow for red. I don't like to give up large yellows if I can help it. Okay, I would, even though he's got a red down here now, I would trade that little yellow for red. Yeah, there we go. Or blue. Blue wouldn't have been bad. It's going to get harder and harder to get blue. One of the tricks about getting your first blue is that you have to trade for it, and so you trade a ship to blue at a system that already has a blue star. And if that happens too late in the game, then your opponent may have 2 blues ready to move into that position and blow them up. Blue ships aren't something you want to put off too long as a rule. But I think red is a good idea here. That way well, I think you should always just have red at your home. Okay. Windrisen wants a blue ship at a green system now. That's a prime target for a medium-sized ship invasion, except that Deaconist doesn't have a yellow in reach, so he'd need to sacrifice his little yellow to bring a medium ship to Chulak, and he probably won't. That probably is not worth it. But Windrisen changes his mind anyhow. He doesn't move that to a colony. So he moves to his red to Tarsonis instead. Continue building red, although nobody wants to build red right now. Nobody wants to take the last little red because the other guy gets larges after that. Although Deaconist might not mind it doing that himself too much. So if Deaconist were to build a small red, sure, Windrisen builds a large red, but then Deaconist also builds a large red, and it's pretty even. That's not so bad. See what he decides. Build a little green. Pretty neutral. That'll let Windrisen build the medium green. That's not too bad. Break even anyway. Okay, Windrisen gets another blue. It's safe for him to have 3 blues at home since Deaconist doesn't have any blue. Did you stick with that? Yes. Deaconist, I think I would suggest trading this little green for blue. Windrisen won't be able to build a blue on his next turn. That'll open up, trading this little green for little blue, opens up the larges. But Deaconist isn't going to be able to build one of those larges. Is the blue star. Just kind of a mess. Deaconist is going to have a hard time getting blue. I don't know what he's going to do for it. Okay, trades for yellow. More yellow is always good. Yep, sticks with that. Yeah, he's Deaconist is just not going to get blue. Windrisen spreads out his blues. It's green. Yeah, I think Deaconist is going to try to get a bigger material advantage in exchange for getting shut out of blues, but getting shut out of blue is devastating. Windrisen with a monopoly on blues can trade a large blue for red or yellow and then build a large blue back and do that repeatedly. Windrisen will get a big material advantage if he wants it that way. Okay, it looks like Windrisen was actually very concerned that he only had one red ship. When you only have one red, it's often not safe to sacrifice it, because then you'd be left with completely without red. And so while a single red can act as a deterrent to invasion for a while, and especially against the most serious invasions, sometimes the tiny jabs become very effective against someone with only one red ship, because they won't actually be willing to sacrifice their only red ship to deter us to fight back against a small invasion. All right, so trades for the red, opening up another opportunity for Deaconist to get blue if he feels like. Okay, sacrificing the green to build large red. Okay, yep. Sacrifices his medium green to build 2 large reds. That's quite good. And of course, Windrisen can build 1 large red. It does. Oh, nope. Changed his mind. Rechanged his mind. Yes, sticks with it. Okay. I think that's very reasonable. I think Deaconist came out a little ahead. Lots of large ships. A lot. He can start harassing colonies. I think moving his large red to Tarsonis, for example. Um, there is no yellow in Tarsonis, so neither ship can run away for free. And they were to both escape. Windrisen would have to sacrifice his medium yellow, one of his. I don't think he's going to want to do that, so. Well, he probably would. I think Deaconist should invade. No. Okay. Looks like he's going to invade Char, but this medium yellow can just run away, so that doesn't accomplish much other than getting Windrisen back away from Deaconist's home. Move out. Yes, he does. Threatening this little guy, but he can just run away. No. Sacrifice. Yep. Okay. What color was the Pandora system? The Pandora system was red. So a red ship at a red system is about the most useless thing that there is. Um, in order to get out of there, he needed to sacrifice a ship. So I think on the whole, that little exchange went rather badly for Deaconist. And if Windrisen felt like he could just move that medium yellow right back to a small red system, they'd be back where they were, except that Deaconist is back down a yellow. Okay, let's see. Windrisen sacrifices blue 1 in order to trade red 3 for green 3. Interesting. So he didn't. Oh, he did need to make that a sacrifice because there were no large green pieces in the bank until he made that sacrifice. I believe the Chulak system was a large green. I think. I'm not positive. You watching the video can rewind a minute and find out. I'm just going to push forward. Not a crazy move. I think Windrisen might be concerned that he could have gotten left out of. He could have missed out on having a factory. So if the greens continue to get used up, now with a large green in his pocket, Windrisen can do factory builds. All right, yeah, Deaconist does look like he's interested in pushing the greens. Nobody has a blue ship anymore. I think they're crazy. I think I think they should have got blue ships. Okay, by moving his large green. So all right, so I thought he was going to want a factory. He still might end up with a factory, but I think what he really wants here is an investment. Move his large green to a large red system, which is very secure. He can't go anywhere. He'd be able to attack any invaders, but if he later on sacrifices this, yeah, actually, I like this quite a bit. He'll be able to sacrifice the large green to build both the small red and the large red star that he abandons at a time of his choosing. And if he waits until these greens are out of the bank, he can even build back his large green. So both a factory and an investment. That would be neat. Okay, well, let's see if that turns out. Deaconist. Thinking about building a third green in reach. I don't think I like that very much. No, if he stuck with that, Windrisen, I think, would sacrifice his little yellow to move his little green into reach, and Deaconist would have no green ships at all. Yeah, I think that's better. He spreads them out so that he can build more green safely. Nope, changed his mind about that too. Spread out the red. We'd like to build another red safely, perhaps. All right, I'm just going to keep. He changed his mind again. I'm just going to keep hitting this forward button until something happens. Okay, so he's stuck with that. Spreads out his red in that direction, going toward Windrisen's home. I like that well enough. He can build that little red in reach if he feels like. Probably what he's going for. I think he should have spread out the greens, though. I think the medium greens are more valuable than the small red. Windrisen builds one of those greens. Yeah, he wants to get the greens out of the bank so that he can sacrifice the big green for a factory/investment. Yeah, okay. And Deaconist trades red for green. Yeah, that's fine. Although there are no more green ships to build. So perhaps Deaconist would like to move, his red or yellow to the Mongo system so he can continue building. I think I'd move the yellow. Well, I would consider building yellow in reach and then moving a yellow into Mongo so that both systems still have yellow. All right, but moving on, Windrisen builds a little yellow. That's good. Building is on his yellow advantage. Deaconist moving a little green to Mongo. Doesn't provide a new color to Mongo, but he could trade that little green, or the medium green for that matter, for another color and then build more of it there. Somebody's got to get into the blues eventually. I was Deaconist, I would strongly consider trading that little green for a little blue next. Windrisen spreading out the yellows some more. He could, with his yellows so spread out, he can and possibly should sacrifice his large green to sweep the rest of the yellows from the bank. To have a major yellow advantage. Deaconist would have enough yellow that he could put together a doomsday machine. It would be challenging. Oh, he's sacrificing the big yellow. Thinking about it. Oh, changed his mind. Okay. Deaconist advancing his green. Again. So it looks like Deaconist thinks that the time is right or nearly right to catastrophe Windrisen's green star. But I don't think he should invest too heavily in that until he's prepared to also take out the blue. Although if he had wanted to take out the green star immediately, he could have sacrificed his large yellow, as he was planning to do, and moved these two greens from Mongo into Windrisen's home. And this medium green that was in reach, he could have discovered a new large yellow star. Windrisen would then have two green ships in his homeworld, and he could capture them. He could capture them both, in fact, with the red sacrifice, but he wouldn't be able to get rid of them in one turn. And if this medium green were in a large yellow system, it would be able to move into Windrisen's home on Deaconist's next turn to blow up the green star. But I don't think that's actually a good idea. It's too heavy an investment. Although, Deaconist is up a large ship. Got 3 large ships to Windrisen's 2. So maybe that wouldn't be too terrible, but it would be almost all of his other ships. Deaconist would only have a small and a medium, and 2 larges left over. So that's too much to fight this fleet. Okay, moving on from that topic of a bad move he could have made. Windrisen now, pushing forward his green. Yep, that's a little vulnerable. I think if I were Deaconist, I would move a large red to Camazotz. Oh, no, those aren't connected. Those aren't connected. Uh, because it's on top, it makes me think it's connected, but no. Deaconist is only connected to small systems. No connection there. Oh, one for it. Oh no, don't do it. Yep, he's stuck with it. All right, well, he sacrificed his large yellow to move three 3 greens into Windrisen's home, and he has no green there anymore. But Windrisen has green in plenty of other places, and has now a large material advantage. So I think Deaconist is in trouble. I think that was a big mistake. All right. Windrisen discovers a new little green system, possibly hoping to build lots of yellow. Deaconist trades red for yellow. He's right, he'll need plenty of yellow to win this game. Needs blue too. Blue ships, where are the blue ships? Alright, Windrisen builds green. Yep, I think shutting Deaconist out of green to the extent possible is good here. Okay. I don't like that move on principles because it decreases the color diversity. Well, it spends a turn without increasing the number of unique colors in reach, but I think he's right that he needs more green. That's probably more important than whether he has yellow in reach right now. Windrisen builds that last green. I think that's a good idea. He's got a factory. Going to be able to rebuild very quickly. Deaconist builds a little red. I don't know what that's going to do for him particularly, other than that's a ship he could trade for blue, which I'll recommend. Windrisen brings a green back. That creates another place. His home is now a place where he can build more red and yellow, if he so chooses. Nobody likes the blue ships. Deaconist trades red for yellow, making reach a happy system, which is nice. 1 piece of each color. Windrisen builds yellow. Yep, that's a good move. Reach, though, could now sacrifice his green to build both of the remaining yellow ships, including one of them is large, which would be pretty good. I think I'd like that, actually. All right, Deaconist chooses this particular moment to get into the blues. I don't care for that overly much, although he's right that he needs blue at some point if he's gonna knock out that other star. Yep. Okay. And Windrisen now likes the look of. Oh, okay. He's factory building. Factory building yellow, yellow. Oh, all right. Well, he's leaving a large yellow on the table for Reach to take. He so chooses. He doesn't. He discovers a yellow star instead. I am surprised by that. I'm very surprised by that. He could have built that large yellow, and while Windrisen could have sacrificed a medium yellow to move 2 small yellows to Reach, knocking out that large yellow in the small, that would be a small material gain. for Deaconist. I think better. Maybe he's hoping that he'll get another yellow ship later that he can safely use this as an investment. Not sure what's going on there. All right. Windrisen also thinks it's time to get into the blues. Wanted to trade the yellow for blue, but thought better of it. Okay. Moving a yellow to Promethea. I thought Promethea was just going to be a throwaway star for an investment, but it hasn't turned out that way. It's a major forward position now. Oh, well, it would be. Windrisen changed their mind. Windrisen's home, you'll notice, is connected to small stars now because the small green star was knocked out, so he moved directly to a small blue star. And Deaconist looking at getting a another blue ship. Deaconist has only one yellow ship on the board. He's got two blue ships that could threaten Windrisen's home, his remaining home star, but neither of Deaconist's blue ships are in a system connected to Windrisen's home. Deaconist only has the one yellow ship, so he shouldn't sacrifice it. He's only got one red ship, so he shouldn't sacrifice it. So he's not really well defended anywhere. Windrisen could, for example, move his large yellow to reach, and Deaconist should not capture it by sacrificing his only red ship, because he'd be defenseless, and Windrisen could move into Deaconist's home. So Deaconist would have to retreat, possibly sacrificing his only yellow ship to move the blue ship away, and then Windrisen could capture it. This is quite a mess. I don't like Deaconist's position at all. I think Windrisen could take advantage of it in some rather cruel ways. All right, so he's getting into the blues now, maybe? Yes? Aha! Both players now have a blue ship. See what Deaconist is going to do at it. He is possibly pushing his blue forward. Honestly, I think he should leave his large blue where it can catastrophe Tarsonis if Windrisen chooses to build that other small blue. I think it would be worth the large, well, maybe. Might be worth the large blue to knock out so much of Windrisen's fleet, but I don't know what it's going to accomplish here. Not much. I guess it can sit there in the hopes that Windrisen will build yellow, and then Deaconist could sacrifice his medium green to build the large yellow star and build the remaining blue ship here in Krypton, but I don't think that's likely. Okay. Sacrifices the G3, rebuilds. Oh yeah, sure. Takes the yellow and takes the blue. And if Deaconist had left this blue in reach, then would have been able to catastrophe Tarsonis, which it's hard to tell if that would have been to his advantage or not. But now he doesn't have the option. Okay. Yep. So he is doing as I suggested, sacrificing the green to build the large yellow and using the other action to build the red. Okay. Windrisen now sacrifices the large green, builds the medium green that was in the bank to make it a factory, rebuilding his large green and taking the medium red. No, changes his mind. Oh, interesting. Okay, he's moved forward his little blue. This threatens to be pretty devastating. It wouldn't be a bluebird exactly, but if Deaconist doesn't react to this, Windrisen can sacrifice his large yellow to move both of these blues into Deaconist's home, blowing up his large blue and a star. And then Windrisen has plenty of green to finish off the other star, so that would be... I think it was a good move, but he took it back. Changed his mind. Simply building a G2 in Camazotz, that's okay. There was nothing wrong with the factory build, I don't think. I think sacrificing the G3 to build that G2 and rebuild the G3 and build another red would be just fine. If Deaconist chooses to build the large red in his home, Windrisen can just sacrifice a medium yellow to send his small red into Deaconist's home. Deaconist would have no red at all. He'd have to get a red immediately. I think that factory move would have been okay, but he does the milder thing, just building a green. Straight up no sacrifice. Okay, here we go. That's a little exciting. Deaconist invading Tarsonis with a large ship. Windrisen considering sacrifice. Factory build rebuilds the G3 and building the 2 reds from the bank. Yeah, I don't like that very much. If Deaconist could have sacrificed a little red to capture the large red in Tarsonis, which Windrisen would not have been able to capture back, I think his best move at that point would have been to... Geez, I don't know. He wouldn't want to move his little red in to catastrophe the large... I don't know what he would do. So I'm glad he's backing off from that choice. Okay. Maybe he's got something bold. He's sacrificing his large yellow to move... Okay, yeah, so he's evacuating Tarsonis to the extent that he can, moving 3 ships out. One of them aggressively to reach. I think I would have moved the... would have prioritized the small blue over probably that medium yellow. Because if 2 blues were more advanced than they were in Tarsonis, then Deaconist's large blue ship and blue star would have been in danger. But this is what Windrisen picked. Deaconist sacrifices one of his little reds to capture little blue. Okay, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Windrisen is now in some trouble. If Deaconist sticks with that, which he really should. No. Take it back. Okay, he changed his mind, but redid it. Yes. Oh my goodness. All right. So now Deaconist is in the enviable position of having 2 blues in a attacking position on Windrisen's home, and he's got a 3rd blue ship here. I think what Deaconist should do if Windrisen doesn't react, if Windrisen can't find a way out of this, because I'm not sure he has a way out of this. Deaconist will sacrifice his large yellow to move this blue from Tarsonis and this blue from Krypton into Windrisen's home, and he will move this large blue from his home to a new large yellow system. Windrisen will have 2 blue ships and a blue star in his homeworld, and no amount of capture can change that he will still have those 2 blue ships in his home, whether he captures them or not, and Deaconist will be able to move his other large blue into Windrisen's home on his next turn and win the game. I think what Windrisen has got to do is threaten to win by fleet catastrophe if this big blue moves out of Deaconist's home. He needs to sacrifice his G3. Yeah, sacrifice the G3 to build. At least he needs to build at least 2 reds. I think building 2 reds in Kronos is his only way forward. Whether he does that with a factory build or sacrifices the G3 for 2 reds and the big yellow, leaving the G3 in the bank, but that wouldn't matter too much because Deaconist doesn't have any green chips to build with. Or possibly he could sacrifice a medium green for those 2 builds, but he's got to have 3 reds in Kronos at the end of this turn, or he will lose, I believe. All right, I think Deaconist should win. So he instead trades little green for little red. Deaconist should win if he sees this. No, he backs off. So he didn't want to. I think Deaconist should have sacrificed his little red to capture this little red. Wouldn't have done any harm, except, well, no, he shouldn't have done that. He should have done the winning thing, and not worried about that little red. Second best move, I think, was sacrifice this little red to capture that little red. Although you always feel nervous when you've only got 1 ship in your home and it matches one of your home stars. But oh, so he thought better of it. Nope, went back to it. Okay. Well, so I think Windrisen just missed a win. Or, sorry, Deaconist just missed a chance to win. See what Windrisen does about it. Factory build. Red and red. Okay. Very well. Deaconist still, since Magrathea is a small system, it also is connected to Windrisen's home. He can still do exactly what I was saying before. Sacrifice the large yellow, move these 2 blues into Windrisen's home, and move this blue to a large yellow system where it can come in and finish off the star. Windrisen still does not have 3 reds connected to Deaconist's home, so he would not be able to catastrophe this little red if he were to be left as the lone defender. No, Deaconist doesn't see it. He sacrifices the little yellow. Okay, this is almost the same thing. He should stick with this. Stick to your guns. Do this. He sacrificed his little yellow to move his big blue to a new little yellow system. Yeah. Okay, so he's not. He has trouble with with seeing anything more than a 1-shot doomsday machine where you move all 3 of a ship, all 3 ships of 1 color into your opponent's home at the same time. But he did at least see that he could set that up in 1 turn. Okay, so Windrisen now sacrifices yellow 2. He comes up with something. Looks like he might be struggling a little. Sacrifices yellow 2 to move in red, and resigns. Did I see? Oh, no. Sorry, I thought I thought that was the end of game notification. Okay. So he invaded with as much red as he could. Now Deaconist sacrifices the big yellow to move 1, 2, 3 blues into Windrisen's home, and that's it. Yikes. Okay, well, Deaconist had the opportunity a little earlier, but he found it in the end. That was a fun game to watch. I enjoyed that. I hoped you enjoyed it too. If I missed very important plays, feel free to let me know about it in the comments or in the Discord channel. I'll put a link to the Discord channel in the video description. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.